But we can't be blamed if the Yankees make the biggest move of the offseason. It's the biggest move. No move later this year unless somehow Mike Trout gets traded to like the New York Jets. I don't know, something like that. That would be weird if that happened.
That would be weird. Or the Mets.
Yeah, well, I mean, that wouldn't help them.
No.
Garrett Cole's a Yankee. In the big inning, there was baseball. It is Wednesday, December 12th. I am CJ, and this is my guy, Evan. Evan, how's it going?
Fucking awesome, dude. You tell him why.
Well, you tell him your stuff first. I mean, I said my line.
27 down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game.
It's been a while, so we don't have the proper rhythm.
I'm just too excited.
I get that. I get that. Look, everybody, we are a baseball podcast first and foremost, but we can't be blamed if the Yankees make the biggest move of the offseason. It's the biggest move. No move later this year unless somehow Mike Trout gets traded to like the New York Jets. I don't know, something like that. That would be weird if that happened.
That would be weird. Or the Mets.
Yeah, well, I mean, that wouldn't help them.
No.
Garrett Cole's a Yankee.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole is a Yankee. They got their guy 9 years, $324 million for about a cup of coffee. Steven Strasburg had the biggest deal ever for a pitcher.
For one day.
Yeah, for legitimately the amount of time it takes me to poop. That's how long. I couldn't say that without laughing. That's how long Steven Strasburg. That's how long Steven Strasburg had the record. He had the record of $220 million. It was the record for biggest.
245, I think it was.
Strasburg?
Yeah, it was 7 years, 245.
Never mind. But yeah, I mean, Garrett Cole then tied the total value record, but that can't be right.
I'm positive it is 7 years, $245
million. Am I fact checking you already?
I'm positive, dude. I've fucking been talking about it all night on Twitter.
All right. You might be right. I might be wrong. I might be stupid. You might be right.
Which is crazy because that was the offer that they said was for Cole on Sunday.
All right,
for the
fine. $245 million.
It, I believe, does not have opt-outs in that deal, but
Strasburg.
Yeah, Strasburg has a full no trade clause.
Which is interesting because the same thing happened when they offered Bryce Harper a contract. They didn't give him any opt-outs either, which I thought to be odd. I don't know why.
Is that any in the Phillies?
No,
deal, right?
He doesn't. Actually, it's funny because he didn't want any.
Right. I remember reading that, and why?
I don't know. I think he just wants to.
I think
he wants this to just be where he stays for a long time, and he doesn't want to have to deal with all of the rigmarole of, am I going to opt out or am I not? I think he just didn't want that temptation. He decided I'm just going to stick right here. Yeah. But so here's the thing, everyone. It's a 9-year deal for Garrett Cole. Let's be serious. It's a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
Because unless he somehow absolutely tanks in ability, the guy's going to be most likely still really good at that time. He can probably opt out, especially with the way contracts just keep going up and up and up and up and up and maybe beat what he would have made.
Yeah, no, I think there's a legitimate chance at that. If he is as good as he is right now, at age 34, I think he'll be.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Exactly. Because at that point, he'll have 4 years left. I'm not sure about the actual dollar amounts because I don't know how the Yankees have structured the contract year by year. For a salary cap, it's just evenly divided, but teams do have certain years that usually backload the contracts.
They said it's about 36 a year, which would come out to about $1 million a start if you count as playoff starts.
Yeah, and that's the salary cap hit. So I'm not quite sure what he would make towards the end of his contract in real value dollars.
I don't know either.
But I mean, again, if he's pitching really well, and if it's one of those things where he is 34 years old and he's still playing well, and again, with the way contracts are just going up in value, maybe 4 years at more money would be possible for him.
Right.
And again, it takes injury into consideration, because if Tanaka hadn't hurt his elbow, he'd probably have opted out by now.
Yeah, I think that was a smart decision for him not to, based on what free agency was last year and what a lot of people actually thought it was going to be this year. The reason it wasn't is because of look at what the market is, look at what the players are.
But isn't that interesting? Because the last 2 years, so in the 2017 offseason, everything was super slow, and we were all saying, well, this is obviously because there's going to be so many players on the market. There's going to be, your Machados and your Bryce Harpers and all that. So people were probably playing it safe. It's still kind of odd that last year was as slow as it was. Now it's really quick. Now teams are they're going out and getting.
Did you actually see a reporter who suggested to Boris that the Strasburg signing was really slow and dragged on? Strasburg literally said, "What are you talking about? This is my summer vacation right now." Well, what have you been watching?
I mean,
it literally took 2 days.
Machado and Harper. I mean, definitely Machado. He didn't sign until spring training was already underway.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like March something. Yeah.
So I mean, this is more of a normal. I wonder why. I wonder why this is more of a normal off season.
It's tough to tell, but the thing that I keep thinking is that the market value was already set for these players. Going in, you knew that Cole was probably going to get a record-breaking deal. The fact that Strasburg got it jumped that market way up and happened quick.
But you could have said the same thing about Harper and Machado. Everyone knew they were 10-year, $300 million guys.
But they were waiting for a perfect fit because they didn't have a team that they wanted to go to. He didn't want to go to the White Sox. He had to settle on the San Diego Padres because no other team that had the money like this year was going to look at him. The Dodgers were not in. The Yankees were not in. Who else has money?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like
and the Angels have a ton of money, and they were not looking at those players, the Angels, last year.
I would say I feel like it's kind of a myth that money is only for certain teams these days because of all the regional contracts that are out there. These teams are making a lot of money, and I'm finding it hard to believe that.
If you look at even the low revenue stats, they're still making significant amounts of money. You wouldn't have a team that generates nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Miami generates a certain amount of money.
Right. Yeah, Oakland generates a certain amount of money. I mean, Oakland had their revenue sharing taken away because they were being so stingy with their money.
What the Yankees made last year is
in terms of profit or revenue?
Revenue, I think.
Or what was it?
I think it was like $719 million or something.
$719 million. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest with you. That actually kind of sounds low. That actually kind of surprises me. If that's revenue, that surprises me. That's why I can maybe see.
I think it said revenue. I need to look at my text again because I took a picture of the actual stat.
Because, they would have
that is significantly up from the year before, though. So that's why I'm not shocked. The year before was
I guess that kind of makes sense because the Yankees usually are tops in attendance with 3 or 4 million.
I imagine the
fans.
Revenue next year is going to hit $1 billion, maybe. I mean, or at least 800. It's going to make 719 look like nothing.
Yeah. So I'll say this. This definitely took away the sting of yesterday losing Didi. I saw it coming.
I think we all saw it coming. I had hope that he might try to reestablish his market with us. When the Phillies jumped on that, it made all the sense to go.
I don't even know if the Yankees offered him a contract.
I don't think they did. I was hoping that maybe.
Did they offer him the qualifying?
They
offer?
did not. Yeah. That was $17.6
million. That was extremely telling.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They wanted to give him close to 12 this year, and the problem with that is he made 11.7 last year. He's not going to settle for 300,000 raise.
Right.
Even in the down year, he did significant things here, and that's why the Phillies got him. And I heard that the other option was Cincinnati, but he felt most comfortable going back to Joe.
Cincinnati. That would have been interesting considering that's where he started.
Exactly.
What about the Yankees payroll at this point? There's no way they go under the threshold.
No,
They've been talking about wanting to go under the threshold. There's no way, at least not this year. I mean, sure, that's some Didi in arbitration. I think had made like $15 million. I think that's what he was making in arbitration. Because that was his final go through. But I mean, you lose that. I know they want to move Hap.
He's getting significant interest from what I've read, but
there's no way they move Hap without eating a significant portion of his deal.
Unless they do a similar deal as to the one that they did with Chase Headley, where they added a Brian Mitchell type.
Yeah,
which is hilarious because Brian Mitchell is a huge bust.
Yeah.
He got demoted to,
as I saw coming a mile away.
Oh, I think we all did.
Do you think that the Yankees might know more about this Jacoby Ellsbury thing? Like, they're very confident in the fact that they're going to get that money back?
I think they think that they're going to get it back. I think they're going to be able to prove that he went to another doctor and did the procedure.
That was what, like, how much was he going to be making?
$26 million this year, I believe.
Yeah, $26 million.
And I think he had 2 or 3 more years left.
So honestly, if you really think about it, let's say that goes the Yankees' way and they don't have Didi anymore and they sign Garrett Cole, they're actually lost money from their payroll.
That is correct.
Isn't that insane?
That is correct, yeah. That's more than 36 by
the Yankees seem to do this a lot. They take on guys like Giancarlo Stanton, and somehow that saved us money.
Yeah, they somehow got the numbers down each year to what they needed to be to make that deal work, which is a significant move that the Dodgers couldn't figure out, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy that we have 2 $300 million plus players on the team.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're both going to end up opting out. But
when is Stanton has an opt out?
Yeah, Stanton has an opt out.
When is it?
It might be after either this year or next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be good for us.
That could be. I mean, you can't really look that far into the future about your opt-outs. I mean, it's good to keep your finances in check. Look, the Yankees have this all mapped out. If you think that the Yankees don't have, like, advanced, not just analytics on the field, but also with their budget and, like, have stuff planned out year after year, you're smoking the big rocks.
This offseason was 100% because of what happened last year and the years before. When they set up the whole idea of being financially responsible, it's so that they could do something like this when they got the opportunity to. And this is an opportunity that comes around once a decade, probably. The fact that we had the number 1 and the number 2 pitcher in the same market right there is unbelievable.
It feels like the Yankees haven't gotten their guy since they first signed Tanaka. That's the last time I ever remember being like, "Ooh, I want him. Yeah, we got him." That's the last time I remember having that feeling.
That was right after Christmas, right? Like right before
something
January.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had just gotten a new car. So I was sitting in my new car playing with the radio, and then I heard on satellite radio that Tanaka was a Yankee, and I just lost my shit.
And the same thing, I mean, this isn't even the first time that they've tried to get him. They tried to get him from the Pirates, who then took a worse deal from the Astros to get him. I mean, to ship him off. So even they lost out on that. I remember them losing out on Cliff Lee years ago.
Then they made the Chris Archer trade.
Then they made the Chris Archer trade.
That is the best deal in the history of the Pirates. Fucking idiots.
Oh, my God.
You know how much I love the Diaz to the Mets trade. That one's pretty close to as bad as that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that's a terrible trade.
Terrible trade. Cano's a bum. Diaz is doing nothing.
Yeah, Cano's a bum. You're right.
You know what Diaz needs? He needs Matt Blake. Oh, he's on the Yankees.
I cannot believe... I'm sorry. Just deal with it. You're gonna love this. This guy always thinks that I now think that it's a good deal after the fact. It's clearly gone terribly for the Mets. I've explained this a million times. It was a good deal at the time. Moving on, because I'm not having this argument for the 50th time.
I will argue all day on this.
I will shit in your shirt.
Yeah.
So
he's done it before.
Once. I was drunk. So, what was I about to say before I just threatened with shitting in your shirt?
Well, I brought up Matt Blake, so...
Yeah, I mean, you're the only person on planet Earth that brought up Matt Blake.
You're not excited about Matt Blake?
Not really. Why would I be?
You like analytics. He's heavily analytical. He turned a lot of Cleveland's pitchers into
That's true.
stars.
He's leaving the Mets, so I guess that makes him good.
Matt Blake was on the Mets.
Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, no. You're right.
He's only 30.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard about Cole's also kind of a really hard worker and analytical type guy who focuses on like the technology aspect of that, kind of like Bauer.
So just to make sure everyone understands, Rothschild was also an analytical guy. It's not like he was some.
Okay, but he's
Clint
also
Eastwood
like
with the
70
curve
years
kinda.
old and an old fart. I'd rather deal with this new young approach than dealing with the guy who's been here for 10 years and doing the same thing that he has been doing when he started with us.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him. I don't think he was a problem. I think the Yankees' biggest problem, and this is what they addressed their starters just not being able to go more than 5 innings. Yeah. They had no one who they trusted turning the ball over. I mean, they maybe would have trusted Severino if he was around. Yeah. That would have gone a lot differently.
Tanaka's up and down, and Paxton pretty much can only go 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, they definitely addressed that. That's not something that Rothschild would have been able to fix. That's not him.
I just don't like Larry.
You just don't like him because he's old, and I think that's rather racist of you.
My dad's old. I like him.
That's nice. Yeah.
My dad's a good guy.
I would hope he is a good guy, but I would hope you like your dad because otherwise I'd have to give you a hug. Can I get into the argument that I had? All right. So, yeah. Oh, Joe, I'm so sorry because it's going to involve your kin. This is your ilk that I'm about to discuss. Mets fan, a good friend of mine. He's talking to me about why it's a terrible deal. And he's telling me, well, the Mets are going to be giving DeGrom like half the money, and DeGrom's way better. To which I said to him, oh, you're right. I sure do wish that the Yankees ran their team the way the Mets do. That is the winning strategy. They have the formula. My fingers are all orange from this cheddar popcorn I was eating. I just noticed that. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good popcorn.
Good take.
Anyway, yeah. So no, you're wrong, and you smell. I would say that it was. Look, man. Let's say somehow, some way, you don't smell. Just not you. My friend that I had this little argument with.
He's talking about all Mets fans. They all smell.
Except for Joe. I don't think you smell. Joe's currently pointing to the wall where Mets 2020 Champs is currently written. I didn't know MLB The Show 20 came out already. That's good that you managed to do that. I'm proud of you.
I'm on the cover of that?
Who is on the cover of that?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if they announced it. I don't
Cole
know
probably.
No, that would be nice.
Woo!
I would take that. Bryce Harper was on the last one. He doesn't have a uniform on in it because nobody knew where he was playing at the time. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say that no, the Mets way is not the way that I would like things done. I mean, look, if he doesn't opt out for some reason, those last few years are going to be rough. But you're not going to tell me that this isn't a move that a win now team makes. A win now team makes this move. The Yankees 100%. Poop money. They deuce it out. It just comes out of their behinds like duty.
Really, dude? I'm not even listening to him. I'm just sitting here waiting to make my next smart point while he's talking about shit and duty.
Well, you're the one who says man poopies.
Well, that's funny.
All right, then. So you see? Yeah, but so what I'm getting at is that it's not my money, right? I don't care if the Yankees are going to spend.
You shouldn't care if you're a fan because what we care about as fans is winning and building a team that is going to do so.
Yeah, they have the damn money.
Yeah.
They can spend the money.
I think that the whole chase for him was interesting because, honestly, if you look at the dynamic of what the Angels team is and what the Yankees are, the Angels have significant holes that they need to fill. If they had $324 million to spend on Cole, they should take that and spend it on 3 players. Right? That makes more sense. If you could get Bumgarner, Ryu, and Rendon for that amount of money, maybe you do it. No. They have nothing else, dude. They have a shit ton of money, and they have a franchise that sucks every year.
First of all, I think Ryu is overrated.
I agree.
I think he had a career year. Bumgarner's on the downswing of his career.
He scares the shit out of me. I
don't think he's bad. But he's got the mileage, man. He's started young. He's got the certifiable mileage on the arm.
After losing Cole, they need to make a high impact move. Those three would significantly do that for them. I don't think they're smart moves, but what other pitchers are they going to try to do that with that the fans are going to fall behind? Porcello?
Ew.
I don't exactly.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah. I mean, who else is there? The free agent pitching market it's going down fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the top guys on the market have signed, the number one and the number two
Now it's
guys.
pretty much bats and outfielders and utility guys and I guess some other whatever. But you're going to see a lot of trades. I think the trade market is going to start to heat up once these free agents go.
Yeah, I mean Rendon is still a big name.
I think he's a huge name.
And I'll be very intrigued to see where he ends up. Isn't JD Martinez one of them?
No, because he opted back into the deal with the Red Sox.
Okay, all right. So never mind.
I thought he was going to opt out, so he could have been. And now he probably feels like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be pretty upset if I was him.
He had a tremendous year that would have got him a lot of money this year.
He had two really good years with them.
Yeah.
I mean, he had one his first year with them. He was really an MVP candidate. I mean, Mookie obviously ended up winning the award, but he was like right behind him. People were talking about him a lot. It's hard for a DH to win an award like that because you're kind of you're expected to produce.
If you're a DH, I need you to hit at least close to 300 every year with 35 bombs and close to 100 RBIs. That's just.
I would argue. I get what you're going with that. I would argue 35 bombs is too low for a DH.
No,
to
that
win.
makes sense. I
would say 300. You got to sniff 50.
That's fine. That's fine, dude.
Well, for a DH?
No, that's fine because if Edwin Encarnacion actually stayed healthy, he could have come close to that. He's the type of player to come close to that.
He would have hit 190 along the way. By the way, oh my God.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, I'm sorry. I have to go on this quick tangent. I'm glad he's gone. Because that was rough. And I'm not one of those people who usually says, like, you had one bad playoff appearance. You suck.
He was consistently bad for the final stretch.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, other than a bunch of home runs that he hit, he wasn't all that valuable. Again, this is a DH we're talking about. And this DH, like you said, if he's going to have value, he needs to hit the bombs. He needs to get on base as well. And he was getting on base, but he had a very good on base percentage. Yeah. The problem is if you're going to bat 220, 230, and you have a very good on base percentage, I'm talking about the percentage of time you walk, not the actual OBP, but the percentage of time that you actually walk, for each plate appearance, you're only going to have an OBP of like 320. Which is okay. It's solid, I suppose, but no, sorry. That was just my little sidebar. I'm glad he's gone. Mm-hmm. He can suck my. What else we got?
Right.
Hey, let me get a piece of that gum.
You want some gum?
May I? I'm a little hungry. I feel like that's gonna hold me over. Yeah. What do you got here? Orbit, and the flavor is sweet mint. This is a mint that's. Don't do what again? What did I do? Well, I mean, I'm intrigued by your sweet mints.
I mean, what other free agents do we really have to talk about?
Keuchel signed, right?
No, he has not.
Really?
He has not signed yet.
There's Keuchel.
And he went really deep into the season last year when he signed with the Braves.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
I don't think he signed until after the draft.
I think you're right. Yeah, he went 8-8, so he probably only had about 16 starts, maybe 17 starts, something like that.
Probably more than that, but yeah. There's Ozuna. There's Donaldson.
Yep, Ozuna, Donaldson, Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees are pretty much done with the free agents. I think they look at Romine. Maybe
I don't think they're gonna get Romine.
No, I doubt it. He's probably gonna get a significant contract.
Yeah, I mean, someone will want him as a backup, like 2 years, $20 million.
Exactly.
Maybe the Mets.
He actually wouldn't be bad for the Mets.
Yeah, because he sucks. Oh, man. I got to tell you, I love the guy, don't get me wrong. And he was solid as a backup catcher. Yeah. I'm glad he's going to be gone because I'm just tired of hearing start Romine over Sanchez.
Oh, and they're still doing it on Twitter right now, dude. It's exhausting. They're doing these hypothetical trades where you need to pick one between Sanchez, Judge, and Torres to trade. Obviously, you're going to pick Sanchez, but it's a dumb fucking conversation, and it's a dumb move to do. He's a top 5, maybe top 3 catcher in the game, but you're going to get all upset because he has certain issues. Every catcher does. It's a weak fucking position, and he's good at it. So shut up. Talk. Sorry.
The Yankees need to win a championship with him on the team because Posada got the same shit, but he came through and he was on the team in '97. I think he first made it to the team. Yeah. Yankees finally won a championship, obviously, in '98 with him. He got a lot of shit too. Yeah. He got a lot of shit. He got a lot of shit for his terrible defense, which is worse than Sanchez's defense, everybody. It's worse than Sanchez's defense.
Stats, you're correct.
The guy could not... he had a strong arm, but yeah, he was playing catch with Bernie Williams most of his career. Yep. He wasn't an accurate thrower. Nope. He couldn't frame pitches. Nope. Yeah, he moved pretty well, and he was able to block balls, and that's where Sanchez has his weakness, but dude, he's
who do you think's
actually
more likable though? Because I think everyone loves Jorge Posada.
Yeah,
now they got to the point where he did. I want them to get there.
He's only more likable because he won 4 World Series championships or 5, whatever the hell the number was.
Even if he won
Posada.
2, he still would have been, dude. It's weird that they include him.
It's because he's from that romanticized era of the core 4, which, by the way,
exactly. I was about to get to that.
I cannot stand. I love those guys, but I cannot stand that it's boiled down to the core 4.
No, it's obnoxious because there are so many other pieces on that team that were significant to winning those championships.
Bernie Williams was on the team for 4 of those.
And the fact that you leave Bernie Williams out every time is obnoxious and rude.
Tino Martinez was there for
Scott Brocious.
A bunch of them. Brocious was there for a couple. Paul O'Neill was there for 4 of them.
Look at our bullpen. Jeff Nelson, Ramiro Mendoza.
How dare you tell me there's a core 4 when we had Paul freaking O'Neill?
Paul O'Neill. Sorry, my bad. I love Paul. Paul reminds me, or Brett Gardner reminds me a little bit of Paul because of his shenanigans and hot temper for how much he loves the game.
I love that Brett Gardner has a little bit of a temper. At the same time, it's like, dude, calm down. Because at least Paul O'Neill was at least mad at himself every time. Brett Gardner just throws pissy fits. They're funny pissy fits, but they're pissy fits.
Could you imagine if I was a player?
Oh my God.
If I was a manager, holy shit, I would have well choreographed rants and raves towards the umpire. It'd be great. Savages rant, we'd have 10 of those.
You'd be suspended pretty quickly.
Oh, I would be banned from the league. I'd probably touch a manager or something.
I think
punch him.
You would touch a manager. Interesting. Yeah. Tell me more.
No, I'm okay.
Cool. Really quickly.
There is one other topic I want to talk about, but go to your topic.
Well, I was going to say a Hall of Fame voting.
Okay.
I was going to say we can give our ballots or some players that we think deserve to be in. I gave a list on Twitter that
I agree with most of the list except for Gary Sheffield.
All right, well, okay, cool. So why don't we?
Honestly, now that I've looked into Gary's stats, they are Hall of Fame worthy 100%. And I think my bias is the fact that I just don't like that he jumped from team to team.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a dumb thing.
Yeah,
I don't like it with Ricky Henderson either, but he's a fucking Hall of Famer, obviously.
Right. Yeah, he's the greatest leadoff hitter of all time.
It's unbelievable.
All right, so these are. I usually have 10 players on my ballot, but outside of these,
I try to keep it lower to that. But yeah,
outside of these 9, I really didn't see anyone who deserved to be in. Let's get to the ones that should have been in by now.
And I'm just going to say if I agree or not.
These are the ones that should have been in my opinion, already. Schilling.
Yep.
Clemens.
Yep.
Bonds.
Yep.
I would say Manny.
Yep.
So that's 4 that I feel are just absolutely egregious that are not in.
You need to put in the fact that they were in the steroid era.
But
as a good thing. As a good thing.
Right.
You can't separate them from that when everyone was cheating and that was just what the error was. Right. That's my point.
And if you're not going to let them in, then you're excluding an entire goddamn decade. You're going to tell me Frank Thomas didn't juice? You're going to tell me Ken Griffey Jr. didn't juice. I'm sorry, I love Griffey too, but just because the guy smiled a lot, that doesn't mean he didn't do steroids.
Chuck Knobloch juiced and it didn't do anything.
Well, except it made him forget how to throw the ball.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the 4 that I feel like by now it's a joke that they're not in. Yeah. There is one other player that's been on the ballot for a long time that I feel is a Hall of Famer but hasn't gotten in. It's Walker.
Yes.
Larry Walker. I
agree,
I think he deserves to be in. I think he's more than just a Coors Field byproduct. If you look at the splits, he hit everywhere.
He did.
Then I would say a guy like Sammy Sosa. The guy was an awesome player, and it's the same kind of thing about Clemens and Bonds. You're going to hold him out just because he did steroids. Kiss my butt. Then we have another one who's been on for a while is Gary Sheffield. That's the one that you disagree with.
I'm so borderline though. I could honestly vote for him and be fine.
He's borderline to me, but I think he's above the borderline. I think that
no, you're right. I looked more into the Todd Hilton stats, and he did not do it for long enough. He was a great defender, but
I feel that like around 60 WAR is where I really start to consider you, and Sheffield is above that.
Yeah, by a significant amount. I think. If you put Helton in, you would have to put Don Mattingly in. I think Don was significantly better than Hilton.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case mostly because Mattingly's career was cut short.
It was very short. It's 14 years.
So I gotta look at that again. But
his stats are very good, and he was very good defensively. I think better than Hilton.
I've given you 7 so far. I have 2 more.
Okay.
This one I don't know how he didn't get in the first ballot was Scott Rowland.
Scott Rowland was unbelievable.
Scott
he has
Rowland,
a very high WAR as well.
Yeah, it was up near like 80.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like 75, 80, something like
that. And then, of course, the one new guy this year, and that's obviously Derek Jeter. He's obviously going to get in.
Yeah. I can agree with all of those, but I don't think all of those are going to get in, obviously. I think they're going to...
Right. So I think this is Larry Walker's last year that he can get in,
and I don't think he will.
I don't. Well, we'll see because he got a solid bump from the year before last year.
When do they announce the
winners? Who gets in? Yeah. I think it's in January.
Okay.
And I'll also say that Schilling got a pretty decent bump. I think he was at 60 last year. I think he was at like 40 something the year before that.
I think the whole Mike Messina thing really helped him.
Yeah, I think so too because they're so comparable.
Yeah.
I would probably honestly say that, as much as I hate to say it, Schilling might have been even a little better.
Yeah. A little. Schilling really had a period of dominance that he just...
Would you say there's anyone not on my list that you would have in?
No. Okay. That is pretty much the list that I would choose from, and I would probably put 4 guys from that list in this year.
Of those 9, who would you put in?
I think, this is who I think are going to go in. Probably Jeter, Schilling. I'd like to see Rowland go in.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Larry Walker go in. Those would be my 4 guys that I want to see go in. I think it's probably going to be Jeter and Schilling and maybe 1 or 2 others.
Yeah, I think Rowland will get more votes. Yeah. I feel like there's like a massive logjam is finally clearing out. These last few years, there have been such Hall of Fame worthy names. Like each year, we've been getting like 3 or 4 guys in.
Yeah.
I think that logjam is finally clearing out. It's going to suck for Larry Walker because, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's his last year. But some of the guys like Scott Rowland and the guys lower down will start to see some bumps in percentage. Yeah. You wanted to talk about something, so what's that something?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about our first base situation because there are a lot of people who, one, say we have 4 first basemen and that we need to move them, and others who say that...
4 first basemen?
I don't even know. I know we have Voit, Ford, and I guess DJ, but who's the 4th?
DJ.
He's not really a first baseman.
He's not a first baseman.
He's going to be our second with Torres at short probably now. So I would get that out of your head.
And thank God Greg Bird is gone.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Andujar they think's now going to magically play first.
Headbutt yourself if you think Andujar is going to play first. Just headbutt yourself right in the dick. That's stupid.
So they've been bringing up, I think I heard Clint Frazier and Voit to Cincinnati for Votto.
Headbutt yourself in the groin. What's wrong with you? Joey Votto? The husk of Joey Votto, who was not good last year and who is now like 37?
If you're going to do something dumb
Shove
like...
your own head up your own wiener hole.
What about Rizzo? If they move him, the Cubs have said...
Rizzo's over the hill too.
Okay.
Screw that.
They're not going to give him an extension, so it would be an interesting time to do it.
Dude, Voit went cold. I'm not going to lie. The guy absolutely sucked, but I don't think he's that bad. I think you can start off with him, but you don't have to go selling Frazier for... That's my response.
It's a pretty bit... They've also said Andujar and Voit for a bunch of stuff like that.
Stick a cactus up your ass. Right up your ass. Don't stop. Don't you fucking stop.
I also heard Clint and Andujar for Robbie Ray.
Oh, now you're fucking with me.
I'm not fucking with you.
I think you were fucking me with me. You were fucking me.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Oops. You were fucking with me when you first brought up Votto.
No, I had this conversation.
Freudian slip of the year, by the way. I have to just throw that out there. Why don't we do this, actually?
We're pretty much done.
What if we do Frazier and Torres and Judge for Julio Franco? What is he, like 75 at this point?
He's still playing, probably. I believe he's making his way through the Mexican league.
It's like Mini Minioso. He just keeps playing into his 80s. Are we done? Is that no more?
You want to talk about Mike Moustakas?
He has a mustache. No, he doesn't, but his name means mustache in Greek.
Well, everyone have a very merry, happy holiday Christmas.
Yeah, we won't be back until the new year. This is our last episode of 2019. We love you. Keep watching us.
This is 27 Down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game. Take care, guys.